here in this problem I have a quadratic equation. Now you can see the coefficient of x is in terms of k here. Okay, so it's a little bit different in that sense. Then we got the quadratic equation has a repeated root. Now when I read that, I think about the discriminant. So I know that b squared minus 4ac must equal to 0 for repeated roots. For two real roots, it's going to be more than 0. If it's no real roots, then it'll be less than 0 or negative. Find the possible values of k. So I need to look at the discriminant, see what that gives me here, and set it equal to 0, because that's the case that we're going to get for repeated roots. So let's write that down. So 2k is my b, if you notice. So a would be 1, b would be 2k, and c would be 9. So 2k, and I need to square this, so I will square that, minus 4ac, so 4 times 1, and then times c is 9. And I need to set this to equal to 0 because they've said the quadratic equation has repeated roots here. So this is going to be equal to 0. Now if I solve this equation, I can find the values of k that this question is asking for. Okay, so this here would be 4k squared. So we will have 4k and squared. Take away 36. And this will be equal to 0. And then if I solve that equation, what I can do first is divide everything by 4. So that will give me k squared take away 9. Okay, and that will be equal to 0. Now here you can either factorize this is a difference of two squares, and then solve it like that, or you can add 9 to both sides and square root it. Okay, so if I add 9 to both sides and square root it, I will get k is equal to plus and minus square root of 9. So therefore k is equal to plus minus 3. Okay. Now, so the possible values for k are positive 3 and negative 3. Now, say the question here, in this sentence here, said the quadratic equation has two real roots. Then what I would do is, instead of making this an equation equaling to 0, I would say this is going to be more than 0. So I would have an inequality here. It would kind of simplify in the same way, and at this stage I will have k squared take away 9 is more than 0. And then if you think back to how you solved quadratic inequalities, you'll be able to solve the values that k can take. So here are some questions for you. So you got your equation, it gives you a condition, and it says find the possible values for k. The extension here is to try and find the possible values for k if the two equations above had two real roots. So instead of me saying repeated roots here and repeated root here, if we were to say the equation has two real roots, how would you solve for the values for k? So that's the extension.